Hi guys, very good evening to you. Welcome to the video number 234, and in this video we are going to talk about the range and sheet command. So we have started a series on the introduction to the VBA, and I'm going to actually walk you through all the basic parts of the the macros. If you're a beginner and you do not know any VBA, and or maybe you are somebody who's learning the VBA, then these videos are going to help you a lot, right? So I have recently started the series, and you can watch this if you're watching my channel for the first time. Just go to this playlist and you will find this video over here. There's a one video which I have uploaded on this Excel VBA introduction, but otherwise there are other videos as well, 233. You can go ahead and watch all these amazing videos under the different playlist, under the different categories, right? So in my previous video, if you click on this playlist, I have talked about actually in detail about the macro, how to record the macro, how to edit the macro, and what are the different ways of recording the macro, right? So in this video now, what exactly I'm going to do today is in this video we're going to talk about that how you can actually use the range command. Okay, so we're going to talk about the range, we're going to talk about the sheet, how basically you refer to them, right? So guys, because these are the very basic codes actually, and I'm also going to talk about the offset function, which is a very useful function. This is going to help you a lot in basically compiling the data whenever you want to compile the data from different sheets, right? So let us start first of all from the very first code which we are going to prepare in the VBA. So for that you need to have this developer tab on. If you don't have this developer tab on, then go ahead and watch my first video. I have explained there that you need to go to the file option and you need to on this option. Just go and watch that video. I'm not going to really explain the things which I have already explained in that video. Now in this video we are going to click on the Visual Basic, and you click on the Visual Basic, and this is the basically the the window which you're going to see, right? Now if you don't see anything here, let's say you're going to open the VBA for the first time, and this is what exactly you see, your window, right? Then what you can do is you can go to the view and you can on this Project Explorer, or you can press the Control R. This is going to give you this all the sheet access. Right now in the workbook name is intro, and it actually names it as VBA project, and the workbook name is intro, and the extension you already know that it is .xlsm, right? You can see here that this is my basically the workbook name, and underneath this workbook we have the different sheets, right? And we have the different modules. So whenever you want to write the program, please remember that 99% of the codes we write always in the modules, right? So in this program also I'm going to insert the module, and this is the module 3 which is inserted, and we are going to now work on this. You need to double click on the window and you will be writing the the code there. If you want to go to the module 2, this is the previous video which I recorded a couple of hours back, and so basically what I'm saying is whenever you want to record, whenever you want to make any program, either you write in the same module if it is already there, or if it is not there, you can also go ahead and create the new module, right? Now once you created the new module, what exactly we want to do here is now let's say I'm going to write here the the macro name. So macro name starts with the sub. That is the first thing you need to understand, right? Even if you're if you record the macro, you see that this subword automatically comes. Now sub, some people also call it procedure, some people also call it subroutine, and in a layman term most of the time people call it macro also. It's one and the same thing, right? Now sub is actually a VBA word, and it is not something which you can try to write somewhere else. For example, if I write here that discussion, this is discussion, the basic discussion, let's say discussion underscore basic range. You start the bracket, you close the bracket. The moment you press enter, sub is automatically going to be created. So that means your macro name is discussion underscore basic underscore range. Now in this macro there are a lot of things which are supposed to take care of it. Now for example, it cannot start with the number. So if I write here 3 and I click outside, you will get this syntax error, because as per the rule you cannot write any number in the beginning. Though you can write somewhere here, maybe you can write here 3, that is allowed, but you can't start with the number. Similarly, you can't write any special character. If you click outside, you see that you will get the error, right? So these are the basic rules you need to always understand. You need to abide by that, right? You can use the underscore, that is perfectly fine. If your name is long and you want to basically write the underscore so that it should be readable, then you can do that like the way I did. Right now, another thing, very important thing, you can't use here any the VBA word. For example, you can't write like sub and sub. If you try to do that, it will give you the error. The reason is because sub is actually a VBA keyword and you cannot use the VBA keyword. Similarly, you can't use the dim word also, right? If you know the basic VBA, then you know that dim stands for the dimension. We use it a lot in every code. So this is also not allowed because this is a VBA actually keyword. It's a VBA reserved word and you're not supposed to use that. So try to give it a meaningful name. So let's say I'm gonna give that range discussion. That is the first thing. Now everything the name is good, so that's why we are able to click and we did not see any error. Now what if you want to go to the A1 cell? Now how you go to the A1 cell in the Excel VBA? This is what we need to understand, right? So this is how you write the code, range, and then here within the quotes you write the cell and then dot select. So this is going to be your cell. This is going to be a command which is going to take you to the A1 cell. Now how to run this command? You need to run this command using the F8 key. Okay, so let me just write it here, F8 key. I'm going to talk about this maybe in the next video, but this is for now, you can remember it. F8 is the key to run the macro step by step. Okay, so now because otherwise if you run the F5, then the macro will run in seconds and I won't be able to explain you what exactly happened, right? So that's why you can use the F8 key. So I'm going to use the F8 key. I'm pressing F8 and the macro starts. Now this line, when it gets highlighted like this, it means that it is going to execute this line. It is ready to execute this line, the color you see here, the yellow color and this arrow. So the macro started, and look at this. Right now I'm on the G3 cell. The moment I'm going to execute this line, it is going to take me to the A1 cell. It is going to take me to the A1 cell because I have written here range A1 dot select, right? So similarly, if I want to write, let's say I want to go to the B10 cell, so you can write like this. Simple, as simple as that, right? So the moment I'm going to write it like this, you see that I'm already on the A1 and now it takes me to the B10 cell, right? If you want to print something in the B10 cell, then what you can do, you can use the command like this, range B10. Now you don't want to select it, right? What you want to do is you want to basically print the value, dot value equals to, let's say I want to print there 100. So now when you're going to run this, you see that the moment you execute this line, you get to see here 100. So two things we have learned here: how to select the cell and how to print the value in the cell. This is how you can print the value using the range command, and this is how using this select command you can select any of the cell, right? Okay, now what will happen if you select, let's say if you want to select, let's say this table, maybe this table, let me enter some value here, or maybe we can go to this sheet. Let's say I want to select a table called this one, right? So how to do that? So it's very simple. Again, what you can do is you can simply write here range, and then you started with the A1. Now it's a we have a multiple cells here, so obviously I'm not going to simply just put this in the double quotes. What you do, you put the colon here, and then you're going to write here D7. Let's say you write the D7, and then again you close it and dot select because you want to select it, right? So now when you're going to execute this line, the first line is going to select the A1. As you see here, it has selected the A1. The next time when you're going to run, it is going to select the B10, and now in the B10 it's going to print 100. So you have here 44, but the moment I execute this line, you see that it is going to be 100. Now the range A1 to D7 dot select. So if I execute this line, then this is what exactly happens. You get to see the entire range getting selected. So we use this command whenever we want to copy and paste the things. Right now that is not actually the we are not going to discuss about that, how to copy and paste, but I'm only talking about this range command. So how you select the multiple cells, how you select the single cell. In this way you can do the things, right? Similarly on this you have the another how about selecting the sheets? Because if you're working in Excel, then obviously you will be requiring a lot of sheet selections. So how are you going to do that? So you need to remember this line. This is how we start, guys. I'm again creating a new macro. So let's say you want to go to the sheet 10. So I'm going to select the sheet 10 name. You write the sheet word, you start the brackets like you started in the range, and you write the sheet name here, which is sheet 10. You put it within the quotes and say dot select. Right? So sheets is a keyword which you will have to enter, and within brackets you need to write the sheet name. So the moment I execute this line, you see that I'm already on the sheet 9. The moment I execute this line, it is going to take me to the sheet 10. Right? So this is how you can select the sheets. Right? Now, one more thing I want to tell you, which is very important. In some of the codes, you may have seen that people generally don't like to use these names. They write there the number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, and so on. Now, let's say if I write here sheets and I write here 3 dot select. Now, you must be thinking that, all right, so we don't have any sheet, you know, having this 3 name. You can see here, I don't have any sheet which says that the name of the sheet is 3. Right? So will it give the error? So let us go ahead and let us check. The first thing which I'm going to do now, sheet 10 is, I'm already in the sheet 3. The moment I execute this line, you see that it selected the final sheet. Right? So now you must be wondering that, but we haven't written here within the quotes that final. Basically this, when you write a number, again, it is also another part of, you know, another way of basically describing your sheet. Now this is going to be act as an index number, basically the position of the sheet. So if you start counting your number from here, 1, 2 and 3, this comes here 3. So that is why, you know, this is exactly the sheet is coming here. Right? But remember, whenever you select the codes, right, choose wisely, because what happens sometimes, for example, in your code you want to go to the sheet which has a name called final. Okay, so here you have written, let's say sheet 3 dot select. Let me just remove this code for the time being. Let's say this is what you are doing, and let's say I'm on the sheet 6 right now, right? So whenever this macro runs, what you're doing, you are saying that it should go to the final sheet, which is the the sheet index number is 3. So that's why you have written here sheet and in the brackets 3 dot select. The moment you execute this line, you are good to go. You are on the final sheet because the position of the sheet is, you know, 3. But what happens tomorrow, let's say if somebody is going to change this and somebody is going to put the sheet here, let's say here, okay, or maybe here, let's say, okay, now you see that the index of the sheet is not 3 anymore. Now the sheet which is on the number 3, it is actually the sheet 7. So in this case, if you run the code, you will have a big problem, because now it is not going to select the final sheet. It is going to select the sheet having the 3rd position, and this time it is going to be sheet 7. Right? So it really depends upon the situation. So if you're very much sure that you always need to select the sheet should be final sheet, then you should write the sheet name like this. Then you should not give any index to that. Okay, like in this way. So now I'm going to remove this, or you can also do one thing, you can just put the apostrophe in front of it. When you put the apostrophe, the color of the line is going to change. If you click somewhere outside, you see that the line of the color is changed. Now the line of the color is changed only because of the reason that you have put the apostrophe. So VBA is not going to execute this line. VBA is going to consider this line as a comment, right? So when I'm going to run this, look at this, it is not going to stop on the sheet 3. It directly comes to the sheet final, right? So now I select this and it is going to select the final sheet. Even if I go ahead and change the position of this final sheet, let's say I'm going to put it here. Now you see I have changed the ranking of this. It really doesn't matter. Let's say I'm on the sheet 10. The moment I'm going to select this sheet, it is definitely going to select the sheet called final. So in this way, when you write the sheets, there are the different ways you can give the name of the sheet. You can give the name as an index also, but really you need to be very cautious what you're doing. You should be knowing actually what you're doing, right? If you know the concept of the index, that is fine, right? If in a situation, let's say if in a situation where you hardly it matters for you that what is the sheet name, but it always has to be third sheet, let's say, in that case, you can definitely go ahead and write the sheet name as like this. You can give the number 3 because it doesn't really matter whether the sheet is final or sheet 9, A, B, C, D, whatever the sheet name is, but your job is to always go to the third sheet. Okay, in that case, you can use this sheets3.select. Right now, so let's go to the next topic, which is the offset function. Now offset function actually is very useful in the VBA and it is very easy to understand. But yes, I can't imagine the VBA code without this offset function. It's really so powerful, trust me on that, right? And if you don't trust me, well, I hope that you trust me, but the thing is, still, for your own satisfaction, just why don't you go ahead and watch the video number 1, and you would understand. In the introduction, you know, I have talked about this offset function, but not exactly in the detail, because that was a more of a recording. But here we are going to write the code ourselves. So guys, offset function, actually what it does, it always tells us, we can give the movement to the cell. Now for example, in this sheet, you are on this cell, right? Now let's say I want to say that I want to go to this cell, which is a blank cell, right? So how I can go to the blank cell? So let me just insert the new module here, and now we are going to write here sub using offset. Okay, all right. So now in this case, what exactly we are going to do? So let's say let me select the range A1 cell. You know that this is how we select the cell, right? Okay, now see, when you select the range A1 cell and you run the code, then what happens, that A1 cell becomes the active cell. It's simple, right? It's a very basic thing. You don't really have to be very good programmer in that, right? If you're starting for the, let's say this is your first day in the VBA, I mean, you can understand. If I say that go on the A1 cell, then that means that becomes the active cell. Now this is my active cell, because active cell is what? Active cell is your current selection. Now from the current selection, how many cells you're supposed to move? Let's say, now I want to move, let's say, I want to move 1 row, which means I want to go here. Then how do you write? How do you give the movement? Of course, you can select here range A2 dot select, but that's not I want to do. That's not the way I want to do. I want to use the offset function. So how are you going to do that? You will say that from the active cell, which is your A1, remember, active cell dot offset. Now it has a 2 parameters basically. It has a row parameter, it has a column parameter. Offset. Now row means that how many rows you're supposed to move downward or upward. If it is upward, you will write the minus. If it is a downward, you're going to write the plus. You don't have to write the plus, just keep it the number like this. For example, I want to move 1 row from here, so I will just keep it 1. Now, how many columns I'm supposed to move? I don't want to move any column. I want to remain on the same column. So if you want to be on the same column, then you're just going to write here 0 and dot select, because I want to select the value. Okay, now the next time when you run this, let us run this. You see that the moment you execute this line, it is going to shift 1 row down, and this is where now the cursor is, right? So let's say if I want to from the A1 I want to go here, then what would be the this command? What would be the syntax? Obviously you are going to write here 1 comma 1, because now you want to move 1 row down, and at the same time you want to move 1 column, which is in the positive direction, because this is your positive direction. Left to right is actually the direction. You never start writing the data here and then move in this direction. I hope you know that the data always flows left to right. So if you execute this line, then see what will happen. You're going to be on the B2 cell. This is what exactly I was telling you, right? So similarly, if I write here, let's say 5 rows and 1 column, then you can see that from the offset, now the moment is going to be on the 5th row, it will come here. It is going to be on the 6th row, because from the active cell where I am, that is going to be treated as 0, right? So the counting starts from the very next row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 5th row, what is the column? You know that the column is 1, so it moves in this direction, right? As simple as that. Now let's say we are on another cell. Let's say I'm on the C4 cell. Okay. Now what I want to do is, let me just comment these commands. Okay, now from the C4, which means from this cell, I want to, let's say, come here. Okay, which is, let me just color the cell. So how many cells you are supposed to move? Obviously you are supposed to move 1 and 2 columns in the negative direction, because now we are moving right to left, and on the same row, that means on the 0 row. So what will you do? You will write here active cell dot offset. How many rows you are supposed to move? Well, we are not supposed to move any row, because we are on the same row. So I'm going to write here 0. And how many columns you are supposed to move? Now we are supposed to move the 2 columns. But now the question comes, is it left to right or right to left? Is it your natural direction, the actual direction? No, it is not actually. It is the opposite direction. We are moving in the backward direction. So you are going to write here -2. If you write the 2, then it will shift to the E column. All right. So now we're going to run this and let's have a look. So let me make my cursor on any cell. So this takes me to the C4 cell, right? And from the C4 now, let's see where it is going to be. We can see that it has actually selected the perfect cell which I wanted, right? So this is your actually offset. Now similarly, if let's say from the C4 you want to go to the maybe let's say this cell, let me just give it a color, this B2. So from the C4, what will you do? How many rows you are supposed to move? You are supposed to move 2 rows up because it is going to be up. So now your row parameter will have a negative value. All right. And because you are going to move in the backward direction, then of course the column will also hold a negative value. So what you're going to do is, let me just copy this line, paste it here, and let's just comment this. We don't want to execute this line. So from 66, let me just make this bold so that you can understand. Let me make this italic as well. All right, now from the 66 I need to go to the 44, which is my B2. So that means the column has to be -1, right? I'm just going to move the 1 column in the backward direction, and because I'm not moving in the downward direction, I'm going to move in the upward direction. So this has to be 0. This is 0, right? Because I'm on this cell. So this is going to be -1 and -2. So you're going to write here -2. I hope this is correct. Let's just go ahead and let's execute this. So let me select any cell, and there we go. So this is taking me to the C4 cell, and let's have this. Let's run this. All right, so there we go, guys. You see that we have given the correct movement. So offset is nothing. It is just, you know, basically to give the movement, how many rows and the columns you're supposed to move. If you're moving the column from the left to right, remember it always, you know, it should be a positive number, because that's how you work in the Excel. And if it is going to be in the backward direction, which is right to left, you write the negative. And same goes for the row. If you're moving in the downward direction, your row will always be positive. So positive means you don't have to write plus sign, just write there, you know, these numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, like we have written here 5. And if you're moving in the upward direction, they got to write here minus, right? So these are the basically the range and the sheets and the active cells which are supposed to know. They really come very handy, right? So I hope you liked the video, and we'll come up with some more videos on this introduction part. So just let me know. I mean, if you have any concerns in understanding anything, I will definitely reply you on the same. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You have a link just on the bottom corner, the right bottom corner, and please do watch all those amazing 234 videos. I will be back with the new stuff. Thank you so much. Bye bye.